So, you'd expect Sunblest Mills to have something special in Manchester, the great port of the north and capital of northwest industry. But who are those girls, and where are they going? And what have they got to do with Sunblest Mills? Tell you this, they're domestic science students, and they're off for one of the regular lessons on their college curriculum at the Sunblest Kingpin Mills, because Sunblest Mills cater for the housewife who makes her own cakes and pastry, as well as catering for the bakery trade. At the demonstration kitchen here at these Sunblest Mills, the mums of tomorrow are learning how this can be done. And they're not only mums-to-be, these students are teachers-to-be, cookery teachers. That's why their teaching college sends them to us. When you're producing the best milled products that exist for bread, biscuits, cakes and confectionery, it goes without saying that you give the housewife the flours and mixes she wants in her kitchen, as well as the perfect bread. And see that flour, untouched by human hand. Now, don't let us forget Vitbe, the health bread that contains the wheat germ, so rich in vitamins, so carefully collected in all the mills where the wheat grain is opened to release its health-giving treasure. Here's a mill that really needs to have a weighbridge, such is its output. You begin to understand how the world's biggest bakeries also became international giants in the milling world. A fortnight before we learned Russia's harvest had failed and forced her to do a £3 million headline deal with Canada for wheat, we'd done a £3,700,000 deal for flour with a Canadian milling company. The biggest flour deal in history, done with amazing foresight by our chairman with no publicity or fuss. To grasp the true Sunblest situation, imagine this scene repeated on 80 different main roads, any hour of any and every day. Think of the bread you and 50 million bread eaters beside you in this tight little island eat every day. And you see the importance to the biggest bakers in the country of a port like Bristol's Avonmouth. Among the great grain ships with their bulk Sunblest consignments, you not only know, you feel that this is a flour milling organization vast enough to play a decisive part in the shifting international scene. For here we are at Britain's most inland port, Gloucester. There's a Sunblest mill here, where the early lessons in modern milling were first given, where they still produce wheatmeal on traditional stones. Farther upstream at Tewkesbury, there's the same waterway and the same fine tradition. You see the value of the Sunblest mills, so strategically placed, both to the farmer on Canada's prairies and to the farmer in our own wheat-growing areas. Here is a sleepy market town, steeped in Britain's most dependable traditions, proud of its ancient roots and its showpiece abbey. And who's the man in the street that everybody respects and knows? He is, of course, a justice of the peace. But more particularly, he's the head of a family that has lived here for generations, known to everyone. John Healing, his name is, and it's his great-grandfather who founded the Tewkesbury Mill, which in the Sunblest group now, John Healing still directs. All through the chain of mills, picked and acquired by Sunblest, you'll find family businesses still run by skilled members of the families, like Sugden's. At their Brighouse Mill, you've got family pictures from photography's early days. Richard Sugden's now managing director of all the Sunblest mills. His son David has taken over a milling interest greater and more secure than ever his grandfather could have predicted for the Brighouse mills, now forefront in the country. There's grist for such mills to grind because Sunblest have built up massive storage space for grain reserves with 20,000 tons of extra silos in construction, almost as much again on the drawing boards, to preserve a constant flow of wheat to our mills. Assess the diversity of this empire. Go to Newark, where the corn farmers hold their regular market day grain exchange at a 14th century pub. There's a Sunblest miller at this market, Edward Caldwell, because he's a farmer too. He buys grain and he sells it. He's one of the people who link Sunblest mills inextricably with the British countryside and its inimitable way of life, preserving the farmer-miller-baker trinity. Market day, and the very farmers we've seen at their wheat exchange are also considering food for their stock. And that's another thing that links the Sunblest mills with the countryside, because animal feeding stuffs are also important products of our mills. Edward Caldwell, farmer, with his son, who's been helping harvest a good wheat crop despite a bit of rain. English wheat, good it is true for biscuits and pastry, for cakes, and for leavening the strong flour it needs to bake satisfactory bread. Edward Caldwell has the best of both worlds, because he's a farmer and a Sunblest miller too, here at Southwell in Nottinghamshire, in a mill that puts a sack of flour into the Sunblest stream every 5 minutes, day and night. Day and night. Meet the Donovan brothers as the night shift takes over their Nottingley mill in Yorkshire. For an efficient flour mill operates right round the clock, day and night, and there's no letting up. Day and night. The wheatberry is cracked open, sifted, ground and purified. Sifted through the finest silk to separate the flour particles. An endless operation in a nationwide chain of Sunblest mills. Day and night. Day and night. Day and night. The plan sifters dance their remorseless dance that screens and screens again and again each particle of wheat, sifting it out as flour, semolina, germ or bran, with the theme of quality first, day and night. Night and day, day and night, the Sunblest mills are grinding the golden grain that gives us that thing we need beyond all other things, that gift of God above, our daily bread. A mill is traditionally rated on the number of flour sacks it fills every hour. But see how the new mills of today reckon in terms of bulk lorry loads to ensure hygienic handling from farm to bakery. Day and night, and dusk or dawn, the Sunblest mills all over Britain are working like the bakeries, on a scale no jolly miller of yesteryear could ever have conceived, storing great grain reserves, converting it into the flour that makes our rich, basic, all-important foodstuff, the bread that we so rightly call the staff of life.